I mean, we literally, I mean, everybody's talked about it. Yes, the Congress was taken hostage. The country, the economy was taken hostage. You had people there who were literally ready to cut the baby in half. I mean, I've heard a lot of criticism of the president. Frankly, the president had no choice here. Congress had no choice here. We did the same thing the president had to do, which is save America from a default, because a default would have been far more disastrous. And what we had was a group of people who are completely unaware or didn't care about the consequences of their actions. They were actually arguing for a default, which would have been even more catastrophic with respect to what's happening in Europe and what's happening here at home now. So we have to break that. And I have to tell you, I say this to you politely, the media in America has a bigger responsibility than it's exercising today. The media has got to begin to not give equal time or equal balance to an absolutely absurd notion just because somebody asserts it, or simply because somebody says something which everybody knows is not factual. It doesn't deserve the same credit as a legitimate idea about what you do. And the problem is everything's put into this tit-for-tat equal battle, and America is losing any sense of what's real, of who's accountable, of who is not accountable, of who's real, who isn't, who's serious.
Well, let's look at that, Senator. You know, we're about, by the way, a minute away.
And by the way, Barnacle's written this down. Mike, this is your responsibility.
We're about
clean it up.
A minute away from the July jobs report, so we're going to kill the break and keep this conversation going. And Simon Hobbs, I believe, will be joining us.
By the way, this is obviously this is one of the.
Can I just add one other? Could I add one other thing?
Sure.
In 15 seconds, because the jobs report.
There's a great book called The Crash of 29. It reminds you that Franklin Roosevelt took his foot off the pedal of helping to stimulate the economy in 1937 we went up to 14% unemployment. I believe we must do job growth now, and I think the president ought to convene the G8. He ought to bring the leaders. We ought to get the European Central Bank. We need to get the Federal Reserve, the IMF. We need to respond to this crisis so the world knows we are leading our way out of it.
Well,